What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. The purpose of today's video is to talk to you guys about step 4 of 5 in the enlistment process. And that step is going to be MEPS. Now I'm going to be talking about MEPS in general as well as my own personal experience. MEPS stands for the Military Entrance Processing Station. Now what that is once you have completed steps 1 through 3, which are choosing your branch, talking to a recruiter, and taking and successfully passing your ASVAB, your recruiter will set up an appointment for you to go to MEPS. Now everybody's scared of MEPS. I know I was. MEPS is quote unquote the last step between you being a civilian and actually being sworn in. The way MEPS works from the beginning is you will go to a hotel that is covered by the cost of the Air Force, or whatever military branch you were going into. It will be paid for. More than likely you will bunk with someone, or not really bunk, I mean, in my case it was 2 separate beds, same room though. You will be at the hotel the night before you are actually supposed to go to MEPS. So I know for me, I went on a Tuesday, or I went to the hotel on a Monday, and Tuesday morning was my MEPS date. So Monday my recruiter told me, hey, you have to be at this hotel by, I believe it was 6:30 p.m. So me being the way I am, I showed up about 6 o'clock. I had my dad and a friend, my best friend, take me. Showed up, went to the front desk, and they said, hey, how you doing? Said, pretty good. I'm here for MEPS. I'm gonna go to MEPS tomorrow. And they said, okay, go to this room. And it was like called the Freedom Club or something like that. There was this short, older guy. I'm not sure if he was former military, but he was pretty professional. He said, hey, what's your name? What branch? Told him my name, my branch. And he said, here's a key. He gave me a key to a room, and there was a guy right behind me, and he took care of both of us at the same time. He was actually beside me, and he said, okay, you guys are both Air Force, so guess what? You meet your roommate. This is your roommate. So got my roommate right then and there. It was quick and easy. It was pretty cool. My dad and my friend had to leave. Like, they personally had to leave. They don't have to technically leave the hotel. They can hang out with you for a little bit until, I believe, your curfew, which is like, I think ours was 10 p.m. You also get a meal voucher, which is for, obviously, a meal. It's for you to eat something. And I think I got the turkey club, and it was pretty freaking good, not gonna lie. I was on this diet, still kind of am, but I was on this diet that was like really low carb, absolutely no breads or grains like rice or stuff like that, not even oatmeal. It was really strict. Eating a sandwich was like the only thing I wanted to do, so I had it and it was awesome. I might be kind of biased because of the fact that I hadn't eaten bread in a long time, but I thought it was awesome. I thought it was one of the best sandwiches I've ever had, and I was happy. I also had a dessert because the meal voucher is good for an entree, a drink, and a dessert. I think I had the cookie, which was pretty good. Everybody else had like carrot cake, and I was like, I like carrot cake, but it's like really dense in calories. And since I had to go to MEPS the next day, that's another thing. If you're really close to your weight limit, don't overdo it with your food intake, because they do weigh you the next day. Yeah, you will get weighed at MEPS. So if you're like, I don't know, 2 pounds below your max, eat light. There's salad options. You should probably have one. After dinner, me and my roommate, by the way, he was pretty cool. A lot of people worry about the roommate thing. I kind of did too, because I was like, I'm gonna bunk with a complete stranger. That's kind of weird. But then again, that's gonna be most of basic. Roommate was pretty cool. We talked to each other about, you know, where we went to school. He was from somewhere in Iowa. I'm in Nebraska. He was from somewhere in Iowa. He had just graduated from high school. Or no, he was actually still in high school. He was 17, I believe. His parents signed for him or something. And he was going to MEPS because as soon as he graduated in May, he was trying to get a ship date, which now I know that he does, and he ships later than I do. But we still keep in touch, and it's pretty cool. I think I added him on social media. We ended up going downstairs to the Freedom Club. That is what it's called, Freedom Club. So we ended up going downstairs to the Freedom Club. They had foosball tables, they had Xbox, I think they had a ping pong, pool, just a bunch of stuff for you to do, because, you know, after dinner you're just kind of bored. You had to go to a meeting at the Freedoms Club with that older guy that I said that kind of seemed like he was older military. It was kind of like a briefing, and that was at 9 o'clock, at 9 p.m. Sharp. You had to be there. Doesn't matter who you are. If you weren't there, then they told you once you got there that if you weren't at the briefing, you would get sent home. Obviously they'd have to find you, but still, you would not be taking the MEPS the next day if you were not at that briefing. So yeah, they're strict. Make sure you're there on time, you know, just plan ahead. It's not that hard. The briefing was basically about the next day. They started talking. The guy started telling us, hey, you know, doesn't matter what branch you're in, we're all doing the same sort of thing. You're all getting processed, you're getting cleared, make sure that you're okay to go into the military. They told us, hey, your wake-up call is gonna be at 4 o'clock. Breakfast is served at 4:30. So kind of delegate what time you want to get up. Told us about all the items that we're not supposed to take to MEPS, that if we had any of those items, to make sure we called someone to go pick it up at the hotel that night, or to just leave it behind simply. They also told us that our curfew was, again, like 10 p.m. That doesn't mean lights out by 10 p.m., but you have to be in your room by 10 p.m. And there are people that are watching, at least there was for me. If you are caught outside your room after 10 p.m., basically any reason other than an emergency, you won't go to MEPS. They're gonna kick you out. They're gonna have you call your folks or call someone, and you're gonna leave the hotel. That was basically it. Just a little briefing about being professional and making sure we were where we're supposed to be at what times that we were supposed to be there. After that, since it was kind of late, me and my roommate went back to our room and we kind of just chilled there for a bit. I had brought my laptop because they said you could bring stuff to the hotel. I brought my laptop because I was still looking at ASFCs, which are Air Force Specialty Codes. For other branches, it'll be, you know, your MOS or your job or whatever the Navy calls it. I don't know. I was looking those up because I was still researching to see what list I wanted to make when I went to MEPS. I highly advise, if you have not looked at jobs yet, research before you go to MEPS, because once you go to MEPS, it's gonna be hurry up and get it done. It's gonna be hurry up and put down 9 jobs that you want. And if you have no idea what 3E7X1 means, I'm just throwing that one out there because that's actually mine. If you have no idea what that means and you just write it down and then you get it, you're gonna be stuck with it, and you're gonna have no idea what you're getting yourself into, and that's something that you just don't want. So make sure you research ahead of time. That night I researched, looked at a bunch of different jobs. I asked my friend or my roommate about what jobs he had listed. His list was different than mine. We had a couple similar ones, and I think I ran it down to about 15 just in case. Because if there's something to be known, is that the jobs that you may have gotten from your recruiter after you took the ASVAB, that list can change. Actually, it can and it will change after MEPS. There's very rare occasions where that is the exact list that they give you at MEPS. So make sure you try to list more than 9. I narrowed it down to about 15, and still when I went to MEPS, I think out of my 15, like 6 of them were on that final list that they gave me at MEPS. Now, thankfully, because I had researched, there was some that were on the MEPS list that I hadn't originally listed, but I knew what they were. So I listed them on my list of 9. I just made them like my 7th, 8th, and 9th choice because I didn't really want them, but I was like, you know, it'll be okay if I get them because I know what they are. Now, after listing those jobs and making my own little list, I guess, I did something that I thought was smart. I thought I was being smart, and it actually was. When you're at MEPS, you have to empty your pockets. You have to leave everything in like these storage areas per se. So what I did is I made 2 lists. I put one list in my wallet, and I put another list inside my jacket pocket. And I think I actually had a 3rd list. Yeah, I had a 3rd list in my back jeans pocket. Again, I just made a bunch of lists so that in case one went missing or I lost it or something like that, I would be able to pull out another one just to have it handy. And so I put those in their respective places. And, you know, we went to bed. We agreed that we were going to wake up the next morning at 4 a.m. to shower, because you should shower, because they check everything at MEPS. And I'm literally, I mean everything. It's nuts, but it's something that has to be done. If you're an athlete, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, well, you know, be ready. I'm actually at the gym. Got to go hit this real quick. See you guys in a bit. And we are back. All right, so going back to MEPS. The next morning, me and my roommate woke up at 4 a.m. We went ahead and took turns taking showers, grabbed all of our things from our room, and headed downstairs for breakfast. Unfortunately, my roommate was a little bit late after taking a shower. He took kind of a long shower. So we made it down to breakfast about 4:20, 4:25, and it seemed like everybody was already there. Again, breakfast was supposed to be at 4:30, but people got there pretty early, which is cool. Unfortunately, we didn't. You have to go with your roommate. That was kind of a downside to it. So we didn't have any eggs. There were still hash browns, ham and toast, peanut butter, milk, like 3 different kinds of juice, fruit. So there were still plenty of things, but I kind of wanted eggs, but it's okay. I'm not sure if you guys' recruiters will let you know, but if your hotel decides to give you guys bacon, try to stay away from it, because it's gonna, when they take your blood, because they take blood samples, when they take your blood, it's gonna spike your fat content or your cholesterol, and you don't want that. Also, as far as juice goes, personally, I would stay away from it. I did stay away from it because it's gonna mess with your blood sugar, and you don't want that either. But I literally had a piece of ham, about a handful of hash browns, a piece of toast with peanut butter on it, and a carton of 1% milk. That's what I ate, and I was trying to watch my weight because I was within, I believe, 5 pounds of my max, so I didn't want to be over at all. That's what I ate. It was fine. We all got on the bus by 5 o'clock with all of our things. You can't leave anything back at the hotel. I mean, I guess you can, but you won't get it back. So we left on the bus and we headed for MEPS. So our MEPS was really close to where we were staying at the hotel. Literally about a 6-7 minute drive away. Bus driver was pretty cool. Got to the MEPS right about 5:50. Had to wait a little bit because MEPS didn't actually open until 6 o'clock. We got off of the bus. It was really cold. Be aware of your weather. If it's cold, bring a jacket. I brought shorts and a t-shirt, and that was not the thing to do mid-March in Nebraska. It was probably like 45 degrees and really breezy. It sucked. We stood out there for like 10 minutes and I was freezing. One of the security guys came out and started yelling, saying, "Hey, welcome to the MEPS. This is a federal government building." Basically said, you know, if you have anything that that's illegal, like weapons or drugs, I don't know why you'd have drugs, but mostly weapons, like if you have knives, scissors, some weird like credit card survival thing, you can't enter with those. If you enter with those, you're gonna get kicked out and you will not proceed with MEPS. He said that same sentence like probably 4 or 5 times. So a couple people actually started taking stuff out of their pockets and just throwing it in the grass, because he literally said, "I don't care what you do with it. I don't care if you leave it outside, just don't enter the building with it." And some people did that. I didn't take anything, so I was cool. My recruiter told me don't take anything, that you shouldn't anyways. He also said take off your shoes, or take off your shoes as you're entering the door, and go ahead and remove any belts, anything metal from your pockets, because once you enter the door, everything that you shouldn't have in your pockets should not be in there. You should not have anything in your pockets actually by the time you enter the door. Have your ID, your social security, birth certificate, all that out of your pockets or in a folder or something, just not in your pockets. Unfortunately, I was like the second one in line, and I was wearing a belt and kind of dress style shoes that I had laced up, and I had my social security and stuff in my pockets, and I had my ID still in my wallet, I had my keys, and I also had coins for some reason in my pockets. I don't remember why. So unfortunately, I had everything done except for having my ID out of my wallet by the time I went in. So I went in and everything was off except for my ID out of my wallet, and he said, "You're holding up the line, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you done?" I said, "I'm sorry, I was the second one in line." He said, "Attention to detail," which he was right, but this was my first time going through actual MEPS. So I was nervous, you know, I was trying to rush, but I guess I wasn't quick enough. So I walked in, I got everything out, I got my ID out finally, and handed everything to him, walked through the metal detector, everything was cool. Let me go. He told me, "Put on your shoes over there, not in front of the line." So I said, "Okay." I grabbed my shoes and he said, "Put on the shoes when you're over there." And I said, "Okay." I wasn't even trying to put them on, but I said, "Okay," and I walked away. Yeah, I took my stuff. My pants were like falling down because they were like 2 sizes too big. Made it over, put my stuff back on, you know, put my things in my pockets, and went to the front desk, waited in line because again there was a guy in front of me and they were helping him out. You're supposed to keep like a respective distance. It's like, or at least here at the Omaha MEPS, it was like 6 feet. Then the lady at the desk said, "Hey, do you have your birth certificate, your ID, and your social security?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Okay, take those out, let me see them." And she said, "Everything else you need to go put in that room over there." And that room was like the storage room, storage closet, whatever. It's just a room that has a bunch of little cubbies. Everybody goes there, you put everything in there. We put all our luggage, I guess, from the day before from the hotel in there. The only thing we kept on our person was, again, our ID, social security, and our birth certificate. Now when I went to do this, remember, I had packed a bunch of lists, job lists. So I looked at the job list again real quick before closing the door, and upon doing so, kind of try to memorize what order I had my stuff in. Left, went, and sat down. Once everybody was through the gate, we got a little briefing. It was about probably 7 o'clock or so at this point. There was a couple buses, different buses from the hotel, probably from different hotels too. Kind of called us out by branch. They said, you know, who got here first? The guy in front of me was the one that got there first, and I was second. So I started my process a lot quicker. So if you want to get through MEPS quicker, just, you know, try to be in the front of the bus or try to be the first one in line when you get off the bus. Call us out, look at our paperwork. They had our fingerprint. I guess everywhere that you go, you will sign in with your fingerprint, at least here in Omaha. Yeah, you sign in with your fingerprint, and you have to sign out before you go to a different station. I signed in at the front desk, and they sent me right away. They sent me to medical. And the guy in front of me, I don't remember his name. It wasn't my roommate. My roommate went and sat somewhere else, but I definitely know that I went to medical first. Upon going to medical, they looked at my paperwork. They said, "How are you? How do you feel today?" I said, "Good. You know, I feel fine." They said, "Did you eat?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Good." He said, "Are you ready to take blood?" I said, "Sure. You know, I'm not afraid of needles. I've donated blood before, so I saw no problem with it."